this week we are in week 10. Wow, time is flying, of our blanket along, and I am knitting a single square again. Now I went ahead and I recorded all of my temperatures, as you know I am wont to do, and my Wednesday temperature was 52 degrees. So in checking my lovely scale, 52 degrees comes out to be lost jewelry. So I went ahead and pulled lost jewelry out of the giant bag of Mian goodness. And remember, we do still have these lovely big plastic bags available at Black Sheep Fiber Emporium. So if you need one, boop, they're huge. Like, they're great. They're great for a sweater or a blanket because they're huge. Or you could put 2 smaller projects in it, whatever floats your boat. And it zips, and there's a spot. So if you want to, you could actually pull your yarn through the ends and zip this shut and keep everything tidy while you are knitting, especially if you happen to have rambunctious kitties like Mr. Marshmallow. Are you going to come up here? Come on. Come on up. You know you want to be in the video. Come on. Yeah. There he is, Mr. Marshmallow, who like to check out your knitting or tatting or whatever it happens to be that you're working on. So Mr. Marshmallow, he even follows me downstairs when I am sewing sometimes, and I am not kidding you. When I put the dog away, and then the cat will come downstairs and check me out and see what I am sewing, because he just has to be in the thick of things. So, you know, I keep trying to convince him to go take a nap, and instead, I have Kitty in the video. And Kitty chasing all of my crafting supplies. So anyway, today we're going to be working with lost jewelry because we're doing that 52 degrees. And remember, the pattern that I'm using is an older pattern. It's my blanket along from several years ago now that I did for Black Sheep, which is us. But I'm not using the same yarn because we love the Mian, and so we're going to use some Mian cotton. And because of that, I also have to use a slightly smaller needle. So I am using a US 3 and not a US 4. And that is the beauty of these lovely knit-alongs, is that you can adjust the size of your needle or your yarn to fit more of what you want to do. That, to me, is always the beauty of a pattern. I start with the pattern, but I may not follow it exactly because, you know, I might like to do something just a little bit different. So I am going to go ahead and turn the camera down so that we can pick our pattern this week and get started. All right, now let's get started. So here is my Black Sheep Temperature Blanket Along Guide. And remember, I already told you we're using the US 3, the Mian cotton. I chose Wednesday as my day. It was 52 degrees, right there, 52 degrees on Wednesday. So that means I'm going to be using my 50 to 59 degree color, which is Lost Jewelry. I went ahead and pulled that out with my needles. So let's find a fun pattern to make today. Let's see. Now we've already made the broken rib. We've done the bordered squares. I haven't done the checkered basket stitch. That could be fun. We did chevron stripes the last time. I have done the cloverleaf eyelet. We already did the filigree. Let's see. I haven't done, flying geese could be fun. Maybe flying geese in this color. Interlocking lattice. I'm feeling interlocking lattice. These are fun. So we have some 1/1 right crosses. And we also have what are called twist 2 rights and twist 2 lefts. So that's where we're going to carry a stitch over and twist it. So that will be a lot of fun. All right, let's try the interlocking lattice. What does our pattern tell us today? We need to cast on 31 with color number 501 Seafoam. And remember, we are totally ignoring those colors because we are substituting the colors that we are using today. It says to follow my chart and repeat the stitches between the red lines. But again, remember, I printed mine in black and white. So we're going to follow the red lines, quote unquote, 4 times, and then repeat the entire chart 3 times before we bind off. Now, it's true, I'm probably going to need to repeat this at least another half a chart. I may need a full 4th repeat of my chart in order to make my squares square. But I won't know that until I get a little bit into this. So I'm going to assume that I'll be doing at least 3.5 not just 3 repeats of my chart before binding off, but I may find that I need to go a full 4 repeats. So I am going to cast on and let's get started. All right, I have my 30, actually I cast on 32 stitches, so let's pop one off. There. Now I have my 31 stitches cast on, and we are going to follow along. So we're going to do some knits and purls to get started. All right, so let's read our chart. We are going to slip our first stitch, and then purl 1, then knit 1, purl 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and knit 1. Now we're going to go back to the beginning of that repeat. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 1. Go back to the beginning of the repeat again. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, 2, 3, 4, knit 1. Last time. Purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, 2, 3, and 4, knit 1. Now we're going to end with a purl 1, knit 1. So purl 1 and knit 1. And that's our first row. Now on the second row, we are just going to slip the first stitch, and then we will knit the knits and purl the purls. So that means that as we come to them, we are just going to go ahead and work each stitch the way that it appears. So this one looks like a knit stitch, so we'll knit it. This looks like a purl stitch, so we will purl it. And so on, all the way across this row. And now we have set up and we are ready for row 3. Now on row 3, we are going to slip the first stitch, purl the next stitch, and then we are going to do a T2L, which is twist 2 left. And that just means we're going to pass the knit stitch over the purl stitch in a very tiny cable. If you recall, I showed you how to do cabling without a cable needle earlier in this series, and we're going to do it again. So to swap the position of these 2 stitches, I'm going to insert the tip of my needle into the back of my second stitch, which is my purl stitch. Pop both the purl and knit stitch off of my left hand needle, and then replace the knit stitch, then the purl stitch. And I'll work them as they appear. So we'll purl and then knit. Just like that, we've made our tiny little cable. Now I'm going to purl 2, and this time we are going to do a T2 right. So twist 2 right. Same idea, but I'll insert the tip of my needle into the second stitch from the end, which is my knit stitch. And this time, grabbing the base of both stitches, I will pop the knit and purl stitch off, and then move the purl stitch and the knit stitch back to my left hand needle. Then I will knit and purl them as they appear. Work 1 purl stitch to start my series again, and then we will be doing those twist 2 lefts, purl 1, knit 1, purl 2, and twist 2 rights, and we'll repeat this 4 times across our row. And there's one of the fungus gnats that I have in my house. I'm growing lots of plants this year, and I have a tiny infestation. Okay, a big infestation. But we'll ignore the fungus gnat for now. And keep working our way across our row. It's our last cable cross for this row. Just like that. So now we've made our tiny cables move, and we're going to lock them in place with our wrong side row number 4, where we are going to be doing the same thing that we do on the wrong side for all of our rows, which is knitting the knits and purling the purls. So just however they appear. It is, of course, written out, so you can always follow along if that's what you need to do. But the important part of this is that if it looks like a knit stitch, you will knit it. And if it looks like a purl stitch, you'll purl it. There's far fewer purl stitches on the back side than there are knit stitches. That's because we use more purls on the front. Those purl stitches really help our cables to pop. So there was our row 4. Now I am going to go ahead and knit row 5 and 6, and then I'll be back with you for row 7. And I have gone ahead and knit through my row 5 and 6. So now we are set up and ready for row 7. The only difference on row 7 is that we are going to be doing a 1/1 right cross. And all that means is when we get to these pairs of knit stitches, we need to cross the second stitch over the first stitch and make them head to the right. Let's get started. Slip 1, purl 1, 2, 3, and now I'm going to cross that stitch. So how did I do that? Let me slow it down. I'm going to take the tip of my needle, insert it into the front of my second stitch from the end, or my left-hand stitch, pull both of my stitches off the end of my needle tip, and then rearrange by putting the first stitch into the second position and the second stitch into the first position. And now I will knit both of those stitches. We will purl over to our next 2 knit stitches and repeat that. So needle tip into the front of the second stitch from the end, pop both stitches off, and rearrange. This first stitch becomes the second, and the second becomes the first. Now we're going to knit. And we'll repeat that 4 times across our row. Now you can really see why I like to cable without a cable needle, especially on these tiny 1/1 cross cables. Makes them much faster. All right. The rest of this chart, you've already done these crosses just in the reverse order. And now it's time to take our knit stitch and move it out to the right and out to the left so that we're set up for our interlocking lattice once again. And what's neat is that these will look like, like an interlocking lattice. So I'm going to go finish knitting this. And remember, I'm going to repeat the chart at least 3 times, likely 3.5 or 4 before I bind off. So I will be back when I have this all finished and ready to show you. I am back. Clearly it's the next day. But I finished my really cute little interlocking lattice square. It's all done. And you can really see the little cables because they are on that lovely pearl background. Makes a huge difference. So anyway, I really like how this came out. I think it's looking pretty darn cute. And I can't wait to add this to all of the other squares that I have done. Can you believe we have 10 squares done already? Or I do anyway, because I'm doing a square a week. But that's just kind of crazy to me. And look, I've got all my stuff here. But yeah, my giant pile of paperwork that I keep in my enormous black sheep bag. But all of my squares are in here too. We should do like I should do a roundup day where I go through and show you all the different patterns on the squares that I've made. Because, you know, I have quite the selection of squares that I did. So this is the bordered square. I can't even see it, but it's so cool. And of course the chevron. The chevron looks really good on camera because I finished this one last week. So anyway, but that's kind of what I'm feeling like, is I need to go through and kind of lay out my squares and show you all how far we've come in 10 weeks because, you know, isn't that crazy? 10 weeks. Oof. Oof. Oh my gosh. All right, so remember to go in and use your hashtag Black Sheep Fiber Emporium, hashtag Black Sheep Pearly Pirates. Show me what you're working on. Make sure it's public because it has to be a public post to be entered in the contest because otherwise I can't see it. What else do I need to tell you? Yeah, we're coming to the point where I'm going to have to start adding in some new patterns because we do have 52 weeks in the year. And I could repeat patterns, but I think it'll be a lot more fun if we do a different pattern for each week. Not just, you know, tracking the temperature, but do a different pattern for every week. I think it would be a ton of fun. So yeah, that's on the horizon. What else do I need to tell you about? We are having a small clear out sale on some yarn because we're going to streamline what we're carrying at the shop. So make sure that you have checked the website. Tina and I have been working really hard to try to clean up the website, make the newsletters more entertaining, and bring in fun new stuff. So still waiting on my box from Japan. It hasn't come yet. But yeah, all kinds of fun stuff going on. And anyway, I will see you next time. Remember to take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, and craftually, as I like to say. And make sure that you're doing at least 15 minutes of crafting every day. I'm about to go get some of my crafting in today and work on some other projects that need to get done. And then yeah, back to the website. So anyway, I will see you all next time. Please take care of yourself and make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, that you've liked and followed our Facebook page, that you have followed us on Instagram and TikTok. I know I say this in every video, but I don't know who's watching. So just a little reminder to make sure that you have subscribed so that you're following along. Don't forget we have the newsletter too. I only send it once a month, but we do put fun things in there that are a little bit different. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Please take care of yourself. Bye.